So Asia Wilson can't beat nobody in the NBA.
Hell no.
That might get spooked. Not one.
They
did a whole
We're talking bench players, everybody.
No. Do y'all know on the bench used to average 40 in high school and nigga 20 in college? All type.
It's funny because she was on the Nick podcast. It was like Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. She was just like, if me and you play Josh Hart, who gonna win again? He said me. She's like 11-7. He's like, me 11, right? And they just had like a really funny joke about it. She was just
Josh Hart and Asia was a little bit more lighthearted. They were just talking about what the score would be. And Jeff Teague goes on here and basically says Asia is not beating anyone, not even in college, not in the NBA, not in G League, not in college. And some people were saying like, oh, he's being sexist. Asia Wilson is great. She
NBA star Jeff Teague about WNBA superstar Asia Wilson. Let's get into it. Asia Wilson has been dominating the WNBA. After a record-breaking season with the Las Vegas Aces, she led Team USA to Olympic gold in Paris, earning the tournament MVP title. Her achievements have been recognized with a multi-year deal from Nike, and her signature shoe, the A1, is set to debut in 2025.
Hyped up this whole thing, like they see people getting shoes and they see people having shoes and they're like, what's going on with Asia? Why not Asia? What's going on? What's this? What's that? Oh, then you have the other side that's like, oh, who is Asia? She doesn't need shoes, not gonna sell, da-da-da. So it was just like a lot, like it took a mental toll on me because I'm just like, oh my God,
Recently, Wilson made headlines again, but this time not just for her on-court performance. During a podcast appearance on the Roommates show, she playfully claimed she could beat New York Knicks star Josh Hart in a game of 1-on-1, predicting a score of 11-8. Hart, while amused, dismissed the idea, though he did admit Wilson wouldn't go scoreless. Enter Jeff Teague. On the Club 520 podcast, Teague didn't hold back, offering a scathing response to Wilson's comments. He argued that even players from the G League or college would easily defeat her, dismissing the idea of Wilson beating any male players, even those who aren't NBA stars. Teague didn't stop at Wilson. He also made bold claims about WNBA Rookie of the Year Caitlin Clark, suggesting both Wilson and Clark would be no match for Bronny James, LeBron's son, saying Bronny could beat Wilson 20-0. This isn't the first time Teague's remarks have stirred controversy. He previously faced backlash for comments about Angel Reese on a live podcast, which were widely criticized for being inappropriate and dismissive. We have nothing but love for Angel Reese. She's a phenomenal player and an even better person. Teague's comments reflect a broader conversation about how women's sports are perceived. Despite the strides female athletes like Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark have made, they often face scrutiny and comparisons to their male counterparts. This kind of rhetoric can undermine their achievements and deter young girls from pursuing sports at a high level. It's important to recognize the skill and dedication that these athletes bring to the game. The WNBA has been growing in popularity, with players setting new records and inspiring a new generation of fans. Many athletes, both male and female, have come to Wilson and Clark's defense, highlighting the respect they have for their game. Supporters argue that comparing men's and women's basketball isn't always fair, as each has its own unique style and set of challenges. Representation in sports matters. When we celebrate the achievements of athletes like Aja Wilson and Caitlin Clark, we're sending a message to young girls everywhere that they can excel in sports too. Dismissing their accomplishments only perpetuates outdated stereotypes. So, where do we go from here? It's time to shift the narrative. Let's focus on celebrating the incredible talent in both the NBA and WNBA. Instead of pitting athletes against each other based on gender, let's appreciate the game for what it is: a showcase of skill, passion, and hard work. Join the conversation and help change the narrative. Support your local WNBA team, watch the games, and share the stories of these amazing athletes. Media plays a huge role in shaping how we perceive athletes. When female athletes are consistently compared to male athletes, or their accomplishments are diminished, it affects how they're viewed by the public. Positive media coverage can help shift these perceptions and bring more attention to the incredible work being done in women's sports. We, as content creators and media consumers, have the power to influence this change. By highlighting the achievements of female athletes and treating them with the same respect as their male counterparts, we can help build a more inclusive sports community. Let's hear from fans and players who have been inspired by the WNBA. Personal stories of how A'ja Wilson or Caitlin Clark have impacted their lives show the real influence these athletes have beyond the court. The WNBA season is full of exciting games and events. Keep an eye out for key matchups and rising stars. Supporting these games, whether by watching or attending, is a great way to show your support for women's sports. Mark your calendars and don't miss out on the action. These athletes are putting on a show, and they deserve our support. There are many ways to support women's sports. Buying team merchandise, attending games, and following players on social media all contribute to the growth of the sport. Every bit of support helps to elevate the game and provide more opportunities for future athletes. Remember, your support can make a difference. Let's continue to uplift these athletes and give them the recognition they deserve. One of the recurring themes, while it's natural to draw comparisons, it's essential to understand that men's and women's sports have different dynamics. The physicality, style of play, and even the way the games are marketed can differ. But that doesn't diminish the value of either comments. After facing backlash, Teague attempted to clarify. However, there's still a long way to go. Join our community by following us on social media. Share your stories, your support, and let's continue to grow the conversation around women in sports. As we look to the future, the trajectory for women's sports is promising. With increasing viewership, more sponsorship deals, and growing fan engagement, the WNBA and other women's leagues are gaining momentum. The conversation now is about how to sustain and build upon this progress. Encouraging inclusive and respectful conversations about sports is key to fostering a positive environment. Whether it's in online forums, media coverage, or casual discussions, every voice can contribute to a more supportive sports community. One of the best ways to show support for the WNBA is to get involved. Watch the games, buy merchandise, and follow your favorite players on social media. Your engagement helps drive the league's success and growth. Sports have the power to inspire, unite, and break down barriers. It's about more than just competition. It's about community, resilience, and progress. Recognizing the value of every athlete's journey is a step towards a more inclusive sports culture. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Let's continue to challenge ourselves to see the bigger picture. Respect and equality in sports benefit everyone. Keep cheering, keep supporting, and keep believing in the power of the game. Engagement is the heartbeat of any sports community. Whether it's through attending games, participating in forums, or sharing content online, every action contributes to a thriving sports culture. From record-breaking performances to groundbreaking milestones, women's sports have a rich history of achievements. Celebrating these moments helps to cement their place in sports history and inspire future athletes. Despite the progress, challenges remain. From securing equal pay to ensuring fair media coverage, there's still work to be done. But with collective effort, these obstacles can be overcome. Constructive dialogue is key to understanding different perspectives. Engaging in positive discourse helps to break down misconceptions and build a more informed and inclusive community. The future of the WNBA is bright, with new talent emerging and the league expanding its reach. As fans, we have a front-row seat to history in the making representation in sports matters. Seeing athletes who reflect different backgrounds and experiences can inspire and empower people from all walks of life to pursue their dreams. Social media plays a huge role in how we interact with sports today. It's a platform where fans can voice their opinions, athletes can share their stories, and conversations can be amplified. When fans come together to support their favorite teams and athletes, they create a sense of belonging and camaraderie. This kind of support is essential for the growth of the WNBA and women's sports in general. More media coverage for women's sports is crucial in growing the audience and attracting new fans. As the visibility of the WNBA continues to rise, the league and its athletes deserve the same level of attention and respect as their male counterparts. While progress has been made, there's still a long way to go when it comes to equal opportunities for female athletes, both in terms of pay and visibility. Advocating for these changes is a responsibility we all share. The impact of athletes goes beyond the